Be conversational. Okay, so we're going to show them how to, they'll come to the dbl.byu.edu site. Everything we're doing now for BYU will eventually be done for decisionbasedlearning.com that we'll use down in Peru and other places. So we log in. At BYU, it's CAS authenticated, so just come right in. And all this you can share briefly with them, kind of talk them through what you're doing.
Okay.
And there. Okay, wow, this is taking time right here. Okay. Then what we're going to do is show them how to create a new model. We're going to, the course that we have is the decision-based learning stats course, but we're going to give them the, this is the select appropriate method based on research question. And maybe we'll just put, you know, this, we'll call this model the stats select model. And then we put the model description. So we're going to create the new model. And then we're going to go down and find it. There it is. And then we're going to come up here, and this is where we're going to put our learning outcome. Select. And in this case, it's going to be select. It's what I put in the model description. But they can, whatever they want to put there. We'll talk about groups later, but for now, let's just put this in both places, but we'll explain how to deal with groups later on. Okay, now we're going to save that model. Now we're going to show you how to actually make a decision point. So you click on the model, and this is, since this is our, I'm sorry, you click on Edit Model down here. You double click there, or you could have clicked here. And the first question is this a descriptive or inferential question? Save your decision, and then you can put your options. In this case, descriptive and inferential. Okay, save that choice. Very good. So that's how they create the, let's do one more decision off. Inferential. Is this a question of difference, relationship, goodness of fit? Type that out. And then we're going to put the options. Indifference. Relationship.
And then I have here as well to kind of, it may be good to verbally mention that you can create more than two options.
Yes, very good. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and end, we'll have an end point here, which is, we'll call this difference question. And this is the tricky part. I never know what to put here. I put end point, or for now maybe just put difference question, then you end the path. Then you come to problem bank, and because you ended the path, you now have the difference question end path. Now, in some cases, you're going to have to, you'll have so many decisions that, you'll have so many pathways that you're actually going to have to create, the pathway. And here's an example of how to do that. So we come here, if you put new path right here, I'm going to actually get rid of this path right here. Maybe it won't let me. I'll put new path, and you'll notice here I just click blue, and then this blue, and then I click the check. Now that path already exists, but in some cases where you have too many, it won't give you the paths, and so you have to manually go in like this to do that.
What do you mean when you say you have too many? Too many what?
Well, like in this case, we only have one endpoint, but let's say I had 20 endpoints, but there's so many ways to get there. And the software basically says after about
Oh, I
80,
see.
80 pathways, you're going to have to come up with it yourself, or 20 or 30.
Oh.
And then you have to go in, and it won't show up right here. Won't show up
That's
right there.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So, okay, so we got difference question method. Okay. So then, now we go to an assignment. We're going to get a new assignment, and we'll call this the difference question assignment. We set our feedback. Our options are immediate feedback, where if they make a wrong choice, it'll tell them. Specific feedback, that's where it waits till you get to the end of the model, and then it kind of gives a red flashing light to let you know that this is the decision point where you made a wrong choice. And then limited feedback means it takes you all the way through, but just tells you did something wrong, but it doesn't tell you where.
Right.
And then no feedback is like a test. You just don't know.
Okay.
But it defaults at the second one. So I'll go ahead and save this assignment. Now I got to go add a problem to that assignment. So I'm going to come in, and I don't have a problem yet. So I'm going to actually have to go back to Problem Bank and create one. And I want to create one under difference. So we're going to put new problem. What is the difference between science and humanities majors in terms of their average driving speed? So then I save that problem. Notice up here it says difference question. Could have been a relationship, but it's difference. So I'll save that. Now I have a question in the difference question problem bank. Now I'm going to create a relationship question. Go new problem. What is the relationship between age and happiness levels measured in happiness units? There's the question. So then I save that. And now I have two problems in my problem bank, but they're going down different pathways. Let's go back to assignment. Come to assignment. Click on this assignment. Now notice it says add problem from the bank. So I click that. Then I click on difference question, hit the plus sign, and then that adds this question into the difference question assignment. In fact, I probably should name that just a general assignment, but that's fine. I can add another one from the relationship. So let me come here. I can click a plus. That brings it over, but a minus takes it back. So plus. I'm going to add another problem from, let's say, relationship, even though we're in the difference question, but we'll click plus, and that adds another problem. So now we have problems in our assignment. Now we have to create a course, which really is this decision model. But it's called a course. So here we're going to call this the difference. No, not difference. I'm sorry. This is the stat course decision model. You can have many of these within one course. I'm going to add a code. You could generate code. It'll give you kind of a nonsensical code. I prefer to do something a little more memorable. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you save. Now that you've saved that course, you can come up, you click this arrow, and on the right side you have all of the administrator, the instructor. This is where you're doing your work. But on the left side, these are courses where you can become a student in those courses. But first we have to find your course, which was difference question, right? I think, let's see, what was the name of that course? Stats.
Stats select.
Select, let's try select.
No.
Maybe down below. Stats course decision model, there it is. Okay, enroll. And then the student or you yourself have to put 1, 2, 3, 4 to get in. And then we view the view the course. You can go to assignments. You pick that assignment, and now we look at that scenario, and you can create. Let's see if I get it right. I'm going to do it wrong on purpose so you can see that it knows that this is the path that it should be. Let's see, what else was I going to say about this? I had an idea as I was going through.
Building adaptive problems.
Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll show, let's go back to the administrative side. Go back here. I'm going to show you how to do two things. One, how to do a non-branching, how to create a non-branching problem. So here, let's say we want to know what is the nature of the descriptive question. And then we're going to put options or central tendency. And Chris, feel free to use exactly what I'm doing here.
Okay.
So you don't have to, spread, spread and, let's see, spread and symmetry. Okay, but then I say, you know what? I want to ask the question, what's the nature of the data regardless? So I'm going to put, what is the nature of the data? Now, what I'm going to do now is I want all of these decisions. So regardless of how I answer this question, I'm going to come to this question. So I click existing to the chain, existing to the chain, and now all three, this is called a non-branching decision point. I can unlink, notice the unlinking here, or I can put them right back. I'm going to show you one more feature. Let's unlink symmetry. Let's say when you go through symmetry, if you get here, you have to actually loop back to this original question. So if I click existing decision, see this red icon with the looping arrow? You click on that, and it will loop back to, let's see, let's try that again. Oh, I have to have a decision point. I think, no, that should just send me right back. And for some reason it's not showing, but this should have a dotted line. In fact, let's try this out to see. Let's go symmetry. Yep, it worked, even though you couldn't see it. Notice that this question is the same as that question because it looped back. In fact, if you just kept going, it would keep looping the same question as you go through until you do something different. So that's a looping feature. And this is for those courses where you have to change something with the problem. You have to do something in the problem and change it, and therefore then you come back and make that, and then you have to come back and do it again. One thing we don't show here, Chris, is I think when we do learning modules, we'll have action points where we show them how to, put in an action point. So let me do an action point here. So let's say after the nature of the data, it's ordinal, and we'll say scaled. And let's say once you know it's scaled, now we're going to do an action point. And this action point, you don't have to put action point, but this is just to remember, is now you have to check the distribution of the data. So you save that. In this case, it's not a decision. So generally what we put is either next step or next decision, because then we'll ask, is the distribution normal or skewed? Now in your class we actually just put it all together into one. Hey, how are you doing?
Hello, how's it going?
Really good. So we'll go ahead and